Liberals attacking Elon Musk for simply seeing the carnage at the border. The billionaire going where Joe Biden refuses and live streaming his trip to Eagle Pass, Texas on X. The town gets routinely bombarded by thousands of illegal immigrants. The Tesla CEO getting a tour from Republican Congressman Tony Gonzalez, and they say it's not just women and children crossing.
What we're seeing here are, in some cases, some pretty extreme individuals coming through.
Sure.
Obviously not suggesting everyone is like this, but you're talking about, a guy who came through who had face tattoos, including tears.
Yes.
Tattooed on his face.
Yes.
The tear, when somebody tattoos a tear, it means that they have murdered someone.
Yeah.
And they are so proud of having murdered someone that they tattoo one tear on their face for every person that they kill. Is that correct?
That's exactly right. I mean, these are
and this person just claimed asylum. And we just let them in.
We let them in.
Most likely, if they were murdering people somewhere else and proud of it, they will continue in that tradition.
That's exactly right.
Predictably, the liberal media and the Democrats are freaked out that Musk is exposing Biden's border crisis. An MSNBC anchor says, "How dare law enforcement host the billionaire?" And AOC is trying to snitch on the Republican congressman who showed Elon around the border. And while liberals bash Musk for going there, others like this squad rep are flat out denying there's a problem at all.
No doubt about it. Our border is secure, and we're in the midst of a humanitarian crisis, and we have to fix a broken system.
Wait,
and
you think it is secure? You think the border is secure, or it is not secure?
Yes, the border is secure.
But if you have millions of undocumented migrants coming into the country, how is the border secure?
Jake, this is not a new crisis.
It just seems like just such a refusal to acknowledge reality.
All right, so Greg, why do you think the press is mad that Musk is doing the job they should be doing?
I just love Jake's expression, though. It looks like he's smelling something really bad. But if Fox goes to the border, nobody follows. The media doesn't follow, right? They don't have to because it's Fox. But if Musk goes, it's news. He's flypaper to these lazy saps, and he knows it. This is the only way it can happen. So because Musk is like a Trump substitute for their routine of mockery for the time being, he knows that if he goes to the border, they will follow him. But when they do the story, it's not about the border. It's now Musk is at the border.
Right.
And so what do these finger sniffers report on? You got to read the headlines. It's like his live streaming was riddled with glitches, and he wore his cowboy hat backwards. So that's their investigative reporting. Well, if you don't like how he's doing it, why don't you do it, you D-bags? Why don't you do your job so he doesn't have to go? But you won't. So he goes, and now you cover it. Musk is essentially fulfilling a role that for the last 3 years has been vacant. President. He's on the forefront of speech. He's on the forefront of immigration. He's on the forefront of parental rights, while our so-called commander-in-chief is, renovating his house using money from China. So he's stepping up because apparently our commander-in-chief doesn't give a damn. He does. The bigger story now is because he's doing this, the government is targeting him. They're going after him. They're suing him based on stuff that he's not even aware of. And the reason is they know he's immune because he's the world's richest man. So they're going to use their legion of operatives and minions to take him down and limit his speech. Like, he's the most dangerous person in the world to the Democrats and to the left. And he's also the most important chess piece on the chessboard. And they got to take him out. Rather than just simply listening to them, they got to destroy him. If he were a leftist, he would be safe. But unfortunately, in order to have free speech and be able to speak truth to power, you got to be a billionaire.
Maybe Musk should go here and look at the migrant settlements. Maybe he should go to the San Francisco homeless tents. We should just send him everywhere, and then the media has to report on it.
Well, did you hear that Mayor Adams in New York City he's got signs out saying, if you're an immigrant, you're better off going to a more affordable city. Okay, as if we aren't paying for their housing, their education, their medication, and everything they need. Look, the truth is that Elon Musk is an immigrant who is a self-made billionaire, who has a company in Texas, who has every right to go to the border. And the truth is that the Democrats are not going to the border. And when Elon goes to the border, then the press goes to the border. And they just don't want the border to be seen. And amazingly, Joe Biden is in Arizona at the same time and won't go anywhere near the border. And so, you know, the only time that AOC, who's making fun of both Elon and the congressman who took him there, is in 2019 when she did this fake, she was crying because, you know, she thought the children were in cages. That's because Donald Trump was the president. She hasn't been there since. You know, this is such a political back and forth. And Ayanna Presley over there with Jake Tapper saying the border is secure. I mean, they gaslight us. They absolutely look right at us and say, of course the border is secure. This is a humanitarian crisis. Jay Johnson, who was the head of Homeland Security in 2019, says we now know what 1,000 illegals look like. When we get to 4,000 a day, then we're not going to be able to handle it. Well, right now we're at 10,000 a day, and we cannot handle it.
You know, when the fires ripped through Maui, all the networks went, CNN went, MSNBC went, because that's a sexy location, and they can stay at a nice place. It's very difficult to fly from New York and D.C. down to South Texas, down to the border, and they don't want to go. There's nowhere nice to stay. The backdrop's not good. That has a lot to do with it, Harold.
It may. It's good to be back with you.
Good to have you back.
A couple of quick things. One, anyone has the right to go to the border. You're right, Your Honor. And anyone, Democrat or Republican, that says otherwise, or any network that says otherwise is just wrong. It reminds me when I listened to my friend, the Congresswoman from Massachusetts, and she's a friend. But when Republicans, when guns, something happens with a gun, and some Republicans say there's no gun issue, we don't have to react to it. But when, I think that's wrong. And when a Democrat says there's nothing going on at the border, that it's secure, that's just not credible. We have a challenge at our border, and we've got to deal with it. I appeal to all my friends, old friends, and those I didn't serve with in Congress. Don't shut the government down the next day or so. Or if you do, carve out funding for the military and for federal law enforcement, including our border security officials, for all of us who are concerned about it. Put the politics aside for one moment. If they miss a paycheck or we go a day or two over, the problem could worsen. Now, the problem's been screaming at us for a long time. And we've sat around and said, by the way, I like that Fred Perry.
Oh, well, thank you. It's a classic.
Jacket, you have one. The wall, sitting the military down.
Greg Fetterman.
Finding ways.
No, I got stuck.
Finding ways to reform the asylum process. I think Will Hurd, this Republican running for president, has said it well. You have to reverse that. You don't automatically get to come in because you're applying for asylum. That's one of the legal issues that Shannon knows well that you have to address. And you got to figure out how you help some of these law enforcement agencies in these other countries, the ones that are not corrupt, the ones that don't have governance challenges. But I push back on anyone that says that Elon Musk didn't have the right to go to the border. And I think you may be right. He had to go to Chicago and talk about crime. He had to go to San Francisco and talk about crime. And frankly, he had to go to some places and talk about race relations as well. It might help solve some of those problems.
Yeah, he's showing a lot of leadership. So when you have these Democrats on your Sunday show, do you ask them, is the border secure? When they say it is, what do you say?
Well, here's the thing. There are Democrats who have been saying it's not secure. You got the Henry Cuellars of the world, who is a congressman out of Texas. And I find it interesting that any member of Congress would say, well, a Texas congressman shouldn't be down there talking about the border. I mean, this is a nonstop issue. Why wouldn't they be drawing attention to it? And it's his district.
And the richest man in the world is in Texas and wants to see it. You're going to go.
You're going to show up and show him. And by Elon being there doesn't box out anybody else. Like, I don't know why people are outraged. Like, everybody is free to go see it for themselves. And these members have had to get creative trying to get the attention of the White House. There's a piece now of legislation in the House by two members, one from Texas, one from New York. And what they're saying is these cities like New York City, which is now getting overwhelmed, cannot ask for federal funding if they had declared themselves sanctuary cities.
Right.
You can't make that declaration, draw people in, and then now say you need more federal money. So these members of Congress are just going to try to attack it any way they can. And that includes getting attention.
Mm-hmm. How do you know if the cowboy hat's backwards?
I don't know. That was what they were claiming.
It's probably wrong.
Yeah.
You probably had it on the right way.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.